What's happening, people? What's going on, guys? Happy Thursday. How you lot doing? What's the vibe like? Are you lot sad that Delap has rejected Manchester United? Do you not care? Do you think that there's better on the horizon? We got so much to talk about, man. So make sure you guys hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well if you are new here. We are not that far off from 15k. We're about 600 or so away. That's still a lot, actually. I'm not gonna lie. 600 is quite a lot. But to be honest, the fact that we only hit 14k on the weekend and we're already halfway to 15k, I think that says a lot. Big up to everyone. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well if you are new here. We've got so much to talk about. Mbuemo reportedly wants Champions League football. Newcastle could be the destination for him. Reportedly, Man United are looking at an Osimhen Hojlund swap, so we got to talk about that. Delap rejecting Manchester United. Should I say reject, or did he just pick Chelsea? Because no one's saying that he rejected Everton. No one's saying he rejected Newcastle, but everyone's saying he rejected United. But also, I think that's a humbling that we need to know that, you know, Man United's name doesn't hold weight like that, like it used to in the transfer window. We're going to talk about the alternatives that Manchester United are linked to. Tyler Dibbling, Eze. We're going to talk about Marcus Rashford's future. We're going to talk about Jadon Sancho. We're going to talk about Anthony. So make sure you guys hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well if you are new here. Before we talk about football, guys, how are you guys doing? Did you guys watch the Asian All-Stars versus Manchester United? Were you guys as sad as me? Because I was laughing at the fact that obviously people are doing watch-alongs, UV, series was doing watch-alongs for a pre-season game or post-season game, whatever you want to call it. And then everybody's in an uproar when Manchester United lost 1-0. I don't care. I don't care about post-season. Even pre-season to an extent is all about fitness. What I will say is that I am dying of laughter of these pictures that are coming out from players putting up their middle. Like, first, why has this become a thing now? I know Ugarte did it once or twice during the season to fans outside of Old Trafford, but now I'm seeing Garnacho. I seen Ahmad, but Ahmad came online to clarify that, you know, somebody said something about his mum, and for me that's fair game. You know, someone say something about your mum, he's a better person than me. You know, putting up your middle finger ain't enough. He should have jumped into the crowd and decked him. But I'm not encouraging violence, guys. But I've just seen 2 different clips of Garnacho putting up his middle finger at fans in Malaysia. What the hell is going on with Manchester United, guys? And what has happened to, maybe it's part of the culture problem that Ruben Amorim is talking about. I mean, Alejandro Garnacho, personally, he doesn't even look like he wants to be there. He looks like someone's holding a gun to his head saying, yo, you're not getting paid if you don't come here. And he's not cracking a smile. People are queuing up to get their shirt signed. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. At least for me, like, just act like you want to be there. Like, I get it, you don't want to be there, but act like you want to be there. The fact that fans who never get the chance to see Manchester United ever, unless they, you know, bump into a Man United player in Kuala Lumpur somewhere, the fact that they're queuing up to greet you and take pictures with you and get your shirt signed, the least you can do is look like you want to be there. Like, and then putting up your middle finger at fans, it's crazy. It's actually crazy. But your boy Abbas was getting kicked by a guy called Bongon. Let's not talk about my boy Amas. But how good was Sekou Kone? You know what, guys? I'm not joking, and this might be a hot take, and I will say it to Yaya Toure himself. I think we've got a baby Yaya Toure. We talk about Lenny Yoro being baby Varane. I think we might have a baby Yaya Toure in our team, and it's reported that Sekou Kone could go out on loan this summer just to develop and get some first team football, which I think he definitely needs. But I think we might have a gem on our hands, and this is why I fully encourage that Manchester United buy from, you know, different regions. When you're scouting for young players, let's go to Africa. You know, what did Shakira say? Samina, waka waka. Firstly, yeah, guys, this is so random, yeah. But why has that suddenly become a football song? I know it was for the World Cup, yeah. But why has that suddenly become a song for chants? And I hated that song when it came out, guys. I hated it with every fiber and bone in my body. I hated that song. And I hated it because when I was in, I think I was in college at the time when that song came out, people used to sing it to me all the time just because of the samina, So I'll be walking through the corridors and my friends will see me and they'll start singing that song to me. I hated that song. Till today, I can't hear it. I would never go out of my way to hear that song because that song I hate it. But why has it become like a whole common thing for football chant? World Cup fever was at an all-time high when it was in South Africa. I know. I feel like that in Brazil. I don't feel like we've seen another vibe of a World Cup like that since. Qatar was fun. It looked fun. I fumbled the bag. I can't believe I never went to Qatar with the World Cup. 2018, Russia. Not. I don't know what the vibe was like there. And the upcoming World Cups, I feel like nothing will compare to that South Africa World Cup. Maybe because it was the first one in the continent. So probably that's why the vibe was so immaculate, so high. Big up to Wahib. Kone is a top talent. They don't come easy. I know, I hear it. Why has Amram not been sacked yet? Am I the only one surprised he's still here? I think you are the only one. Maybe you're not the only one, but I am not that surprised. I will say though, I'm worried for Amram if he doesn't get results in the new season. And I know the new season is way away, it's like 3 months away, but I'm really nervous of the prospect of having to go through that whole recruitment process for a new manager. We're talking about it like I was the one that was sitting there interviewing. Yeah, I wasn't sitting there interviewing, but sitting here every day talking about who the potential manager is, who can fit Man United. I'm seeing people saying, you know what, let's get Xavi while it's not too late. My biggest worry is that we get rid of all our wide players and Manchester United then go revert back to a traditional football system, which is, you know, a back four with wide players. That's it. Nicole saying she's Amarim out as well. Amarim is so obviously being sacked by December minute. I feel like one thing I've learned, I will say for sure, one thing that I've learned over the last like 2 seasons is to not be overly optimistic going into a campaign. Like I know no matter what happens in this transfer window, we're going to talk about the transfer window, of course. I will not be going into next season overly optimistic. For me, just do better than last season. Hell, just top 8. Like that's it for me. But if Man United, if Inos sack Amarim, that just shows to me that they know that they made a mistake, but they also made a mistake with Erik ten Hag too. So where do we draw the line with the mistakes that Ineos are allowed to make and how much it's costing United? And I even said it in my post-match video or my post-season video when I dropped it after the Villa game. I said, guys, and I'm going to repeat again, the United as we know it is it doesn't exist anymore. And I'm speaking to myself first and foremost. I grew up in the era of Man United dominance. You know, I was a teenager, late teens. United were dominating English football alongside some other participants, but those were the good days. I feel like we are now, I don't want to say being punished for that, but Man United has fallen so far off of that my expectation isn't that anymore. I can't sit here being on my high horse saying this is not Man United, because it has been Man United for the best part of the decade. It's been like that for the best part of a decade. So I can't sit on my high horse saying this is not what Manchester United is, because there's kids right now who are in their teens, for example. Yeah, my nieces and nephews, they're in their teens. Unfortunately for them, they're Manchester United fans because I force them to be, and I buy them Manchester United kits and I take them to United games, etc. But my nephew was saying to me the other day when we were walking, he was saying, oh, you know, if I could pick to support a team, I would support, he was like, outside of I would support Barcelona outside of England. And I said, what about in England? And he said, well, most of my friends support Manchester City and Liverpool because, you know, they are the best teams over the last 10 years. So a lot of them support Man City and Liverpool. And now I'm not surprised that we're growing up in an era of teenagers who are a lot of City fans, because it's the same way I grew up in an era where there was a lot of United fans. But yeah, let's talk transfers, man. I don't know why I started off with some silly waffle. Let's start with the biggest conversation actually after the Delap stuff. Is today is the 72-hour deadline that has been given to Bruno Fernandez from Al-Hilal. I don't know what you guys think is going to happen. I don't know if you guys think what's going to happen. I do expect an update on his future at Manchester United, whether it's just simply, I saw people getting baited. Listen, guys, let me tell you one thing. You don't have to believe everything on Twitter. Just because somebody has Arabic writing in their bio and they've got Jeddah or Riyadh or Dammam or something else, another city in their bio, does not mean they're a Saudi football specialist. Okay? It doesn't mean that. So just because they are tweeting saying it's highly likely that Al-Hilal will sign Bruno Fernandez, it doesn't mean they necessarily have insider information. A lot of the time, they're just tweeting their opinions. And I'm saying this because a couple of nights ago, people were going crazy on Twitter because they thought Bruno Fernandez had accepted the offer from Al-Hilal. And then he came out and clarified. The guy, the journalist himself that was being quoted on it, came out and clarified that it was just his opinion and it's the consensus. The general feeling in Saudi is that Bruno's going to accept it. But they also have plan C, plan D, plan E. Bruno wasn't plan A, guys. Kevin De Bruyne was plan A. And I'm telling you that verbatim. Al-Hilal wanted him last summer. They wanted to push for him again, but he made it known in about February that he had no intention to go to Saudi. So now Bruno is the second option. And if it's not Bruno, there's going to be a third option. So I expect that we will see some news today regarding Bruno Fernandez and his future. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Obviously, we will keep an eye on that. But let's talk about, the biggest topic of discussion is Manchester United being rejected. Yes, rejected by a player who's never played in the Champions League, but he's being rejected because he himself wants to play in the Champions League. So David Ornstein confirming today that clubs have been notified that Liam Delap has chosen Chelsea as his destination for next season. I mean, guys, let's be real. 30 million, that's a good price. It's in Chelsea's way, in terms of the fact that they don't be like they're spending a lot of money over a number of windows. This is just another 30 million pocket. This is pocket change to them. He's given his preference to the Chelsea project, and one of the obviously reasons is because of Champions League. Now, however, I've been keeping up with transfer news across the Premier League, and it is being reported that Delap is not going to be the only signing for Chelsea in terms of a striker. They want another striker. They want a Gyökeres. I don't know about Victor Osimhen, and we're going to speak about Victor Osimhen, but he's not going to be their only striker. So if they sign another striker and they sign Delap and they've got Nicholas Jackson as well, I think he will fall down in the pecking order. And also, I think because they're competing across multiple competitions and Champions League football, they need the squad. I mean, in terms of the number of players they have a lot of players, but in terms of the quality, in Champions League quality, completely different. And I agree with Aaron. Aaron says, bench warmer or not, this is not good for United. It's not good for United because it did feel like over the last couple of months, a lot of the eggs were in the basket of getting Liam Delap. So now they have to go and target what the hell does that say? They have to go and target other strikers. Now the striker market is not that prolific, and I say this all the time. There is not a lot of quality strikers in United's fee kind of area, how much they can afford to buy a player for. Because the big strikers, the big name strikers, they're costing money. They are costing money. I'm talking Victor Osimhen. I'm talking Gyökeres. I'm talking who else? I saw a price tag for Benjamin Sesko, £92 million. £92 million. Who the hell is spending £92 million on Sesko? So then you're looking at the alternatives, right? You're looking at the alternative, Mateta. I saw the name Calvert-Lewin being thrown around. I saw the name Danny Welbeck being thrown around. Jonathan David looks like he's heading to Napoli. So that free option is not there. Vlahovic could be leaving Juventus. So that's another potential, striker target. But this is not good for United because I think a lot of Man United's direction was leading towards Liam Delap. And I'm not gonna lie, guys. For me, it's no love lost. I'm not losing any sleep about losing out on Liam Delap. Because I always felt like, again, you lot know I've always said Victor Osimhen should be the number one if United can get him. But Liam Delap for 30 million is good business. I think it's really, really good business. And somebody says it here in the chat here. As a Chelsea fan, I'm very happy with Delap. This could be our Palmer 2.0. Low-key signings, not too much pressure on him. We don't have a good track record with big name signings. Exactly that. And on top of that, having the option of bringing in another striker, Chelsea were essentially going to next season with three strikers. So that is good for them. And I also think, and we're going to talk about Mbuemo as well, because he's another player that reportedly wants to play Champions League football. I don't know if the weight of Manchester United's name carries any value in transfer windows anymore. Because let's be honest, United we haven't really beaten Chelsea to signings, right? Every time we are in a race with Chelsea to sign someone, it always seems to be Chelsea is where they, lean more towards. Adebayo is a perfect example last summer. And I know they offered him more wages, but a reduced role. But he was happy to take that because, they were offering a lot more. Right now, United don't have European football to offer. They don't have, I think, a project that can be sold. Because when you look at the project that United have under Ruben Amorim, the proven track record is 7 months of continuous defeats. So that's difficult to sell to a player. Now, you're probably trying to sell them the idea of something in the future. Whereas Chelsea have something now. We got Champions League football now. We've just won a trophy in Maresca's season now. We've got competitive wages to offer you now. Like everything with Chelsea is they can offer it to you right now. And obviously something to build off of into the future. Whereas we're saying to players, okay, United's not that great right now. We've had a really bad season. The culture is toxic. The media attention is, unforgivable. But in a couple of years, we have a Project 21 that we hope to be competitive in the league by 2028. And yes, you're a young striker, but we want young English talents as well at the club. And yes, we brought Hojlund, who's a young talent, but we're going to sell him into now because, he's been here for 2 years. Oh, and by the way, if you're here for 2 years and you don't perform well, we're going to get rid of you. So I'm looking at what United have to offer versus, unfortunately, what other clubs have to offer. And it's really not surprising for me, personally, if people pick other destinations over joining Manchester United. And a perfect example of that is, I thought I had a picture here, but I don't. This is how you know, guys, that I was running late for my stream, because I'd never be unprepared like this. But another example of this for me is Mbuemo. Now, it's being reported that Mbuemo is looking at Newcastle as a destination. And United need to be quick, in my opinion. United need to be quick if they want Mbuemo. And I mean quick with selling this project to him, offering a competitive salary, maybe something more achievement based rather than a high base salary, because I know you can offer that in football. So offering that plus getting this deal done, because Matheus Cunha is, I would say, halfway done, still medical to do, etc., etc. And Mbuemo should be the one that, if you've missed out on your number 9 target, don't miss out on the other 10 that you want. And you know what, guys? I really agree with you. Newcastle makes more sense. I totally agree with you. I did a video with Sky Sports back in April, and we're talking about Mbuemo. And at the time, and I was saying, Newcastle just makes sense for him. It makes sense for him. They need a wide player. You got Isaac, you got Gordon. That's a front line already that can score goals. So you're adding your 20-ish goals. You've got Joe Linton, Bruno G, etc. It makes sense. It just makes sense. And they're in Champions League football, right? So it just makes sense to them. But my greediness wants him to be at Manchester United. And I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm also thinking about the prospect of United not even signing a number 9. Because I just spoke about, all the striker options that are available in the market. If United sign Cunha and Mbuemo, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't sign a number 9 and they play Cunha up top and they, have someone like Ahmad or Bruno, etc., playing in the 10 role. I wouldn't be surprised. Big up to Paul, says, I low-key think we should not waste our time with Mbuemo. The fact that he prefers Newcastle should be an indicator for us to move on. I think this is another thing that once you kind of, with the Delap thing, I said it the other day on the stream, it very much felt like the decision. If you lot remember LeBron James deciding where he was going to take his talents before he joined Miami Heat, right? That's what it felt like. And yeah, it's only a couple of days United lost, but I'm hoping, and with what reports are suggesting, United were looking at, okay, next best. Because the reason why I think Delap was the first choice for United was because of the fee. I think the price was a big thing. Because now Man United might have to go out and kind of spend an extravagant amount of money where it is money that they don't have immediately at their disposal. And they might have to pick now between, okay, Mbuemo or a striker. Which one are we going to go with? And on the topic of strikers, it's been reported that Man United's director of negotiations, Matt Hargreaves, met with Napoli officials in Naples to discuss a possible deal for Victor Osimhen. Napoli are interested in a deal involving Rasmus Hojlund and a transfer fee. By the way, this has been now reported by another journalist. So at the time, I kind of took it with a pinch of salt, but now it's being reported by another Italian journalist, and quite a few Italian sources are reporting this. Now, I think Napoli have a broken relationship with Victor Osimhen. And we all know that. We know Napoli have a broken relationship. So their best thing to do for themselves is to get him off the books, get him out of the club. He was meant to leave last summer. He didn't. So now it's like, okay, we have to get him out this summer. And the best thing for Napoli, in my opinion, is that if they get a player out of it, so a player like Hojlund, who knows the Italian league, but also even if Man United don't pay a big transfer fee, I think it's gonna be the lower transfer fee will reflect in probably the salary demands from Victor Osimhen. It's already been reported that Victor Osimhen is asking for like 250, I think it's 200k net salary, because a lot of Europe calculate salary net and then they put the VAT on top. And in the UK, you guys already know half of your salary, when you're a footballer and you make above a certain amount, half of it is going to tax. So that is near enough to 350, 400k. This is just reports, by the way, guys. This is not me saying that it's sources, like I have sources. But this is just reports. I will love it if Manchester United sell Hojlund and money on top for Victor Osimhen. Do swap deals happen often? Feels like journo fluff. Yeah, I can't remember the last time swap deal happened. For United, I think the last time a swap deal happened was Sanchez and Mkhitaryan. That was near enough to like 9 years ago. In football, I don't think it's a popular thing that happens. But I also think, similar to the Mkhitaryan and Sanchez thing, I think it's when both clubs just want to get something out, get a player out, and basically, yeah, you scratch my back, kind of, I scratch yours. But I would love Victor Osimhen. I've been saying it for 2 years. We should get Victor. I've been saying it since Napoli won the Scudetto, since he won the title for them, or even before that. I was saying Man United should go out and look to see if they can sign him. At the time, obviously, he had just come off fresh winning a title. Napoli fans were talking about, he's not leaving us. We're not selling him. He had a high release clause of, I think it was over 120 million euros at the time. And bit by bit, obviously, that price tag has now decreased because of his situation at Napoli, going out to Turkey as a, deadline day departure. I'm seeing reports that even Saudi could be a destination for him. And I wouldn't be shocked if he ends up in Saudi, if he's looking at money as a main aspect. I wouldn't be surprised. But I'm going to ask you guys, are there any other strikers in the market that you feel like Manchester United should be looking at? Is there any striker in the market that you think, you know what, why is Manchester United not looking at this? Because I was racking my brain trying to figure out who else could Manchester United go for. By the way, it's just been announced by David Ornstein. Breaking news from David Ornstein. Chelsea strike total agreement with Ipswich Town. I'll read it to you guys. Chelsea strike a total agreement with Ipswich Town to sign Liam Delap. They've activated his 30 million release clause. Personal terms still need to be completed, but no problem anticipated. And that's that. There you go. So if is there any other strikers that you guys see in the market? Because like I said, I was racking my brain thinking, okay, Vlahovic, that's a name that pops up all the time. Jonathan David reported that Juve, Napoli both want him on a free deal, and he's really the only free striker available this summer. I was thinking then obviously Mateta, but I saw people online talking about Calvin Lewin, Danny Welbeck. Someone even said to me Jamie Vardy, and I'm like, okay, cool. These are all mad names that you guys are saying, but who am I to turn my nose up at an old Jamie Vardy or Calvert-Lewin, who God knows how many goals he has in the last 2 seasons in the league. Sorry, Mina, would you take Lewandowski for one season, even though he's 37? 100%. Well, 100%. I'll take Lewandowski without a doubt. There is Guirassy from BVB. I don't even know why United never went for him last January, guys. Last January, he was available before he went to Dortmund. 17 million release clause. 17 million release clause. And I remember sitting here, some of you guys might be new to the channel, but I was doing daily streams in the January window last year, and I was saying, why is United not looking at him? And people were talking about injury. The guy's barely been injured this season. Barely been injured this season. And Nasiri, you know what's so funny with him? Wallahi, I wouldn't put it past United to sign Nasiri on a deadline day. I would. Nasiri has that all over him. The deadline day signing. That's what he's got written on his face. That's all I can imagine. Central strikers haven't worked in Juve's system for some reason. The assumption he's crap is rubbish. I think that's in reference to Vlahovic. Nicole says, Mina, that 30 million was meant to spend on Delap. Surely we can give that to Napoli plus Rasmus for Osimhen. I'm going to be so honest, guys. If United managed to pull it off, if United were able to pull this off, say 35 plus Rasmus for Victor Osimhen, me, I don't shake hands with men, but I will salute Matt Hargreaves, Man United's deal negotiator, because Napoli are getting their pants pulled down if that deal ever happened. I know it's reports right now that is, suggesting this, and it's just, rumors. But let's be honest, guys, that deal should never happen. Like, we are getting the better end of the deal. We are getting the better end of that deal. 35 plus. That I wish it won't. I know. It's just wishful thinking. Mbuemo's body type is putting me off. Looks like another Adama Traore. Saying his body type puts you off is crazy. That's mental. Mino, you need to break the bank for Julian Alvarez. Did you guys see Hojlund? What the hell? Did you guys see Henry talking about Julian Alvarez, saying that he's one of his favorite strikers? I've watched Atletico a lot this season because I've been watching La Liga a lot. Him and Soloth, serious strikers. Serious strikers. Like, even Soloth, I don't think people realize. Even the kid from Porto, Omarodian, I don't know why no one's in for him. I do not know why. But if Soloth was available, I would take Soloth. You lot are talking about a Fabrizio Bomba. What's that? What are you saying? No, I'm trying to see if Fabrizio posted about Manchester United. Nope, he posted about Liam Delap. Oh, shout out Garnacho. He just got a new deal at Everton. Shout out to him. I can't lie, Julian Alvarez is perfect replacement for Lewandowski. Imagine a front three of Yamal, Rafinha. Julian Alvarez, I think Liverpool should break the bank for him. If there's anyone that wants a striker, I think well, I shouldn't say that, because I shouldn't say that I want Liverpool to sign Julian Alvarez. But Julian Alvarez gives me Liverpool vibes. He gives me Liverpool. Now that they're signing Florian Wirtz with Mohamed Salah, he just gives me Liverpool vibe. He gives me Liverpool vibe. And now I'm looking at the price that he went for. And I remember at the time, everybody was saying, wow, this much for basically a Man City backup player. But the player has always been there. It's just a matter of being platformed, that opportunity. And I remember watching Barcelona versus Atletico a couple months back. I can't remember when it was, but I remember watching Barca versus Atletico, and he was running them ragged. Literally, Barca did not stand a chance. Barca ended up coming back. I think they were losing that game, and they ended up coming back to draw. But he's a great player. He's a great striker. Let me see what else you guys are saying about. I have a good name for you, Mina, and chat. Victor Boniface. I think Victor Boniface. I'm not gonna lie. I can't say I watched a lot of Bayer Leverkusen last season. I watched a little bit. Bayer Leverkusen, I probably watched like 8 games, 10 games all season. So that's not much. That's like 20% of their games. But a lot of the time when I watched him, or I watched Bayer Leverkusen, Patrick Schick stood out to me more than Victor Boniface in the games that I did watch. I'm not saying that he's the better player, but I do think Victor Boniface will end up in Saudi. One of the two Victors are going to Saudi, guys. One of the two. If it's not Victor Osimhen here, then it's Victor Boniface. One of them are going to. They ending up in Saudi, and I know he was linked. Both of them were linked there as well in the summer and January window. But I just don't see it happening personally. But let me see the strikers you guys were mentioning, because guys, I'm racking my brain trying to figure out like what alternatives do Manchester United have in terms of genuinely good players that can improve Manchester United. Who is there in terms of strikers that is affordable? And whilst you guys drop some names in the chat, I'm going to remind you guys to hit the like button. We have nearly over 200 people here, so let's try to get 150 likes for the growing community here on the channel. Appreciate all your support every single time. Obviously, the goal is to grow the channel, inshallah, throughout the season, throughout the window. Hopefully, my goal is to hit 20k by the end of the transfer window. It could happen. I think 20k for me was the goal for the end of the year. But now that I think about it, and doing a daily stream, uploading a video every day, I think we could do 20k by the end of the summer transfer window. So make sure you guys hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well. If you want to join the membership club, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content. Of course, you get to support the growth of the channel, the ever-growing channel here. As well, if you want to support the channel in alternative ways, you can by sending in super chats with your comments, with your questions, with your thoughts, or just to show some love. It goes a long way. We've got a super chat goal here on the stream today. I can see a super chat in my notifications, but I can't see what it says because I think someone deleted it. So mods, thank you very much. And I need to make some new mods in the chat. I'm gonna add a few more mods. Add as a moderator for people that are regulars in the stream here that I see every day, who I trust. That's the most important thing. Do not abuse your power. You guys know the rules here on the channel. And to be honest, everyone is pretty much respectable here. Respectful, sorry, not respectable. Everyone's pretty much respectful here on the channel. Don't read it out loud, minute. I can't even see what the super chat says. That's the thing. Someone just said, CR7, Mohammed, big up to Mohammed, says CR7 is available on a free, by the way. I love Ronaldo, guys. You lot know that, yeah. I love Ronaldo. But do you really think United need to go back there? Like, we're talking about a whole change in recruitment and a whole change in system and a whole change in culture. Ronaldo, unfortunately, burnt every bridge at Manchester United when he left. It's sad, but it's the sad truth. Ronaldo's not coming back to United. I don't think he's going back to a club that he left. I don't think he's going back to Juve. I don't think he's going back to Sporting. He's not going back to Real Madrid. I don't think so. That's just it. And that's me talking as someone who's a big fan of Ronaldo. Endrick, you know what's funny, guys? Talking about Endrick, I saw Ancelotti talking about his selection for the Brazil team, and he was asked about why he left Endrick out, and he said Endrick hasn't been playing at his club. And I'm dying of laughter because you were the manager of that club. You are now at Brazil, and you're saying that you will not play, or Endrick is not getting called up to Brazil right now because he's not playing at club level, but you were the manager at the club that wasn't playing him. I don't think United should get a young player, guys. I don't think United should be getting a young, especially a young player like that. That's for sure. A young player like that, I don't think they should be getting him. If there was anyone that I would like from Real Madrid in terms of young players, it would either be Fede Valverde or it would be Arda Güler. I've seen Rodrigo is linked. I think Rodrigo could end up in England. I know he's linked to Chelsea and I know he's linked to Arsenal. Apparently he's asking for some like blasphemous wages, but Real Madrid are willing to negotiate. But in terms of players I would take from Real Madrid, if I'm going to Real Madrid, put Mbappe and all of that stuff aside, Fede Valverde or Arda Güler is what I'm taking. That's what I'm taking. Would you go for Lautaro Martinez or Marcus Thuram? 100%. 100%. Big up to Tay. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. It says, who should be the captain if Bruno leaves? You know what? That's a good conversation to have, guys. We haven't obviously heard any update right now on his situation with Al-Hilal. You know what? To make it feel like he might leave, let me get a picture of him in an Al-Hilal shirt. This is so weird. How do people Photoshop this stuff so quickly, guys? I just never know how they do it. Shout out to those what are they called? Photoshop guys. Because I need a what's it called? I find it QuickTime. This is crazy. Like, this looks legit, like a legit picture. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's anyone there. I'm thinking out of all of the players that are at United, Cunha captain? No way. As in Cunha, the one that hasn't even arrived at Manchester United yet. The guy who's not at United yet. Delap. Delap, yes, I would say Delap could be one of the... Because there's normally like a committee of captains, right? There's like the main captain, the backup captain, and then like there's a group. Because I know Luke Shaw was apparently part of the captain's group. How can you be part of the captain's group when you're never playing? But Delap, I agree, could be a captain, definitely. Would have to be Casemiro, Delap for me. Maguire take the armband again. I think Maguire could be an option. Euro, I think he's too young. I think Euro is too young. If Bruno were to leave, you give the armband to Matthijs de Ligt or Cunha. I'm shocked people are saying Cunha at the fact that he's just arrived. And I know you guys are going to say, like, Maguire was given the captain armband when he had just arrived at Manchester United. But still, again, we talk about, you know, the need to earn things at Manchester United. Martinez. I think if Martinez wasn't so injured all the time, which is sad because I love Martinez, but if he wasn't injured all the time, I would definitely put Martinez in there. I would say it has to be a defender. It has to be a defender. Because I criticize like Odegaard being captain all the time. I don't think Odegaard should be what a captain is like. But that's also because I grew up on seeing captains like Roy Keane, seeing captains like Gary Neville, seeing captains like Vieira, etc. And I just feel like Odegaard is a bit too timid to be a captain. But football has developed now, and you don't have to be this flamboyant, you know, loudmouth, hot-headed captain. You don't have to be that. Sometimes you can be the captain that is a captain because he leads by example. But in terms of what I would want for Manchester United, I don't want someone who's timid, someone who's quiet, someone who is, you know, shying away from sticking up for his teammates. And, you know, I don't want to see someone who's hugging people in the tunnel before a game. Like when I'm talking about captains. Dalot. Nah. Casemiro captain, Delap vice captain. That could be a possibility. Yeah, he was. Delap was the youngest captain at Ajax. I think he was 18 years old. when he was captain. So that is possible. Is Ronaldo going Al-Hilal? Guys, I told you guys 2 weeks ago that Ronaldo was going Al-Hilal. Why are you not listening to me? What's the point of me doing these streams? What's the point? I came back from Saudi 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago, and I said to you guys, I just came back from Saudi. Ronaldo is going to Al-Hilal. I told you lot this. So it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen because it was the topic of conversation when I was in Saudi and I was with a football club there. It was the topic of conversation in the Saudi Pro League. The fact that, you know, this Al-Hilal are trying to... Ronaldo is tired of losing at Al-Nassr, a team that's going to compete. And Al-Hilal and Al-Nassr are both owned by the Sovereign Wealth Fund. Yes, they are all rivals in the league, but they are owned by the same people. So financially, they can afford to pay Ronaldo's mad salary because they're owned by the Wealth Fund. So Al-Hilal, I told you lot 2 weeks ago, and now next man is saying it, and you're saying, "Oh, is it gonna happen?" Yeah, I've been saying it, guys. Come on. It was a very strong possibility 2 weeks ago. It was in the talk. It was in the conversations in Saudi, and now they're saying it's even more likely because I don't know if you guys saw Infantino from FIFA was saying it on Speed's stream about the fact that Ronaldo could play at the Club World Cup, but Al Nassr are not in the Club World Cup, so the only other team in it is Al-Hilal. So I think it can happen. Big up to V with the super chat. I appreciate the super chat, V. Thank you so much. Says, I'm sorry, what has Delap done for us to cry? We don't need another project striker. Chelsea loves picking strays on an 8-year jail term, better strikers out there. V did not hide how V feels about Delap. I agree. For me, it's no milk spilt. It's no love lost. I'm not losing any sleep about Delap. About losing out on Delap. What I will lose sleep about is if Man United don't sign a striker. That's it. That's what I would lose sleep about. Speed stream as a reference. Speed got sources, guys. What can we say? He got Infantino sitting on his stream giving him information. He's got more sources than certain journalists. On the topic of players that could be leaving, I know you guys don't want to hear about it because everyone always says, Mina, stop talking about Marcus Rashford. But if there's news, I have to speak about it. I have to speak about it. You would lose sleep if if Delap is Palmer 2.0 at Chelsea. Just watch. I will lose sleep, King. You're right. I definitely will lose sleep. But I'm not going to lose too much sleep because I know Cole Palmer's coming to Manchester United soon. In due time. I promise you guys. Give it 2 seasons. Cole Palmer's at Man United. He's going to be wearing a United shirt. Number 20 is ready for him. Marcus Rashford is considering a more realistic deal for Barcelona as he would be happy to accept a pay cut and no strings attached, i.e. no obligation to buy loan deal. The chances of the deal has highly increased. The sporting director at Barcelona, however, Deco, is not particularly convinced by Marcus Rashford. He'd prefer the signing of Liverpool's Luis Diaz as he believes he would make an immediate impact. And I was watching a video of like a Barcelona content creator, and they were saying how Rafinha is going to come in the 10, play in the 10, and they need a wide, which is why they're looking for a left-sided player. They're linked to Luis Diaz, they're linked to Marcus Rashford, they're linked as well to Nico Williams as another option. I've seen Liverpool. I did a video about Liverpool a couple of days ago, and Liverpool fans weren't happy with me saying Luis Diaz could leave. It doesn't seem like a lot of Liverpool fans want him to leave. I think Darwin Núñez will leave Liverpool. So Luis Diaz ain't a necessity to leave, I think, financially. I just can't help but imagine what Marcus Rashford could do in that Barcelona team. In a team that plays a lot more free-flowing kind of attacking football. I can't. I don't know. I feel like it would be suited for him. But however, with saying that, I'm not going to lie, guys. I think the destinations for Marcus Rashford is slowly running out. It's slowly running out. Outside of Barcelona, we haven't seen anything else. And reportedly, his team, his camp, his agents have met with Barcelona a few days ago. But I'm not seeing any other news. Which for me, it sounds like is do or die for Marcus Rashford at this point. He has to get that Barcelona move because it doesn't even sound like a lot of other people are there. Minute he's rejecting offers from where? I haven't seen any. Again, and we're only going off of what we see, right, about reports. But I haven't seen a lot of other reports suggesting that this club is in for him. And let's be honest, Aston Villa came out of nowhere. Remember, Aston Villa came out of nowhere. I spent the whole January window talking about Rashford to PSG or Rashford to Barcelona. And then he ended up at Villa. And that's not necessarily a bad place because I think Villa is a good place for you to do well if you mentally allow yourself to actually care. But it just feels like there's not many people in for him. It just doesn't feel like that. If he wants to go to the World Cup, he needs to go Barca and bang. I think if he wants to go to the World Cup, he just needs to go somewhere that's going to give him regular playing time that he will have immediate impact. At Barcelona, I also think that he won't be a starter. Personally, he might play regularly because there's a lot of rotation available with Barcelona, but I don't think he's always going to be the go-to guy. I don't think so. Not when you've got Rafinha, not when you got Yamal, not when you got Lewandowski. You got Ferran Torres as well, who's done great this season. Dani Olmo as well, another player. If he wants to go to the World Cup, he just needs to go somewhere that he's going to play regular football and he's going to get the opportunity to have regular impact. And then with saying that, he will get the opportunity to maybe go to the World Cup. But there could be there might be better options out there for Thomas Tuchel. I didn't do that intentionally, guys. I didn't switch to Sancho intentionally when I said there's better options for Thomas Tuchel to select. But this is a big topic of discussion right now. Congratulations to Jadon Sancho, by the way. His second silverware since leaving Dortmund, if I'm not wrong. This is his second silverware because he won the Carabao Cup with United. He wasn't there for the FA Cup. So this is his second silverware, his second medal, second trophy. He looked happy yesterday. Good on him to get that goal. That was a great finish from Sancho. It's not a Sancho that we've been blessed to see a lot. Unfortunately, we haven't seen him. We haven't seen that Jadon Sancho a lot at Manchester United. But I'm not joking. If Chelsea got money to buy Hato, they got money to buy Branthwaite. 2 players they're both in for. They're in for Rodrigo. They're signing Delap. I'm sure you got 25 million for us, guys. I'm sure you got 25 million. If there's any Chelsea fans in the chat, and I think there's a couple of you guys in the chat, do you guys want Jadon Sancho to stay at Manchester United? I don't think there's a future for him per se at Chelsea, just because of the links to Rodrigo. I don't think there's a future for him. But I don't know. I saw a fake quote flying around about him saying he's not going back to Manchester United. Guys, always proof check your don't fall for quotes on the internet, guys. Don't fall for quotes on the internet. We don't have money anymore. Roman is gone. You guys got even more money now. What are you talking about? For 25 million, I'd rather Sancho than Noni. That's crazy. I wanted him to stay, but the relationship is so sour, he needs to go. It is being reported that it is highly likely that Chelsea pay 5 million to return back to sender. It's being reported by multiple different journalists. Return to sender. I think that says a lot, though. And I think that says a lot. I think that says a lot that they want to pay 4.5 million or 5 million, near enough, to send you back to where you came from, because they don't want you at the club. Or they might just feel like there's better alternatives out there. Instead of spending that 25 million, there's better alternatives out there to add that 25 million to buying, i.e. Rodrigo. I mean, I don't know, man. I feel like Chelsea are a chicken shop because they just like to stock up on wings. No, but Chelsea, that was a good one. That was a good one. That was a proper dad joke, guys. But honestly, they're just always trying to sign wingers. Like, it's good to see that Chelsea are finally trying to address, the centre-back issues that they have and the striker issues. But it's like, it's not a summer window, can I say? It's not even a transfer window if Chelsea are not buying a winger. Let's be honest. Every window, they're buying a winger, at least one. At least one. And they don't want Jadon Sancho. They don't want Jadon Sancho. Chelsea think years in advance. Even Quenda is queued up for next season. I know. We forgot about Quenda, guys. Quenda is joining them next season. And the reason why he's picked them over reportedly Manchester United is because he didn't want to play as a wing back anymore. Estavio, they've got so many wingers. I'm not kidding, guys. 5 million return label settings for Sancho. That is the most expensive return label I've ever seen in my life. Dead ass, guys. I'm not even joking. That is the most expensive return label. They've got so many wingers. Obviously, Mudryk is out, injured, or not injured. He's injured. His veins are injured because he's being accused of, doping or whatever. But they're going to replace him. They needed to replace him. Even without the allegations, they still needed to sign a replacement for Mudryk, right? Then they signed Neto and they got Sancho. And now they're linked to Rodrigo. They might as well take Rashford off our hands too. Actually, I don't want Rashford to go to Chelsea. I'm being dead honest, guys. I'm being very honest. I don't want him to go there. Another player that Manchester United is being linked to, Eberechi Eze, who has a 60-something million release clause. And I don't know how likely it is United sign him. He's a name that's popped up. And I think he's the alternative. I don't think he's the alternative to Delap. I think he's an alternative to Mbuemo if we don't sign Mbuemo. Firstly, Mbuemo is cheaper than him. Mbuemo is going for 50 million. Eze has a release clause. And I don't see United signing Mateta and Eze from Crystal Palace. There's no way. There's no way Crystal Palace let that happen, let alone Manchester United. He doesn't perform as good on the right. I do think that as well. And I remember I did a video with Sky about it last month, and I was saying that I don't like, not a lot of teams are looking for a player like him, which is why I feel like with Elise last season, there was a lot more teams lining up for him, and everyone was trying to see who he was going to join. But he did really well for, let's be honest, he did really well for Palace over the last couple of months. Like very, very, very good. Another player that United are linked to as well is this kid here, Tyler Dibbling, another alternative for Manchester United. Not 100 million. It's been reported that Southampton priced him at 100 million a couple of months ago, but now it sounds like that price tag has fallen more in the region of 50 to 60 million. I mean, you can't go for 100 million in this economy. Sorry, you can't. Not when you're Tyler Dibbling. No disrespect, but you can't go for 100 million. Dibbling's asking price is crazy, even at 50, 60 million. It's still expensive. It is still expensive. I would say 30 to 40. 30 to 40. I would go for him, because you're taking into consideration the age, and yeah, I know younger players tend to go for more because of potential, but also I'm just traumatized from Man United paying too much for young players. 30 to 40 for me would have been reasonable. Manchester United are, what's the word? Interested in him. They are monitoring him because, you know, we monitor FC. But again, I don't know how likely it is. I definitely think he's leaving Southampton, by the way. I definitely think he's leaving Southampton. 40 million for one season in the Prem. Delap is 30. That's true, but I don't know why Ipswich put a 30 million release clause for, not release clause, relegation clause, 30 million. I don't know why they did that. They should have put, maybe they didn't anticipate that they'd get relegated. Maybe they thought they might be able to stay up, but the gap between the bottom three and, well, not the bottom three and 16th and 17th, the gap was quite huge. So it's not, yeah, I think if anything, I think 30 million is quite little for Delap. I remember there was talk about the price tag at first about Delap, and we were hearing 40, 50. But when I heard 30, I thought 30 is very good business for a striker of that caliber. Like, what you're getting for 30 million is damn right good. Like, it's good. But again, for me, no love lost. The fact that Manchester United are losing out on that. Big up to V with the super chat. Big up V. Says Mbuemo, Mateta, Edison, and a goalkeeper. Is that a big ask? Is that, I'm assuming it's including Cunha as well in that. So five players essentially. V is saying, is that too much to ask? I'm not keen on Edison, guys. I say this. I've said this on Twitter recently as well. I am not keen on Edison, and Al-Hilal, by the way, are interested in Edison if they don't get Bruno Fernandez, which is weird because that's so random. But Edison for me is a ball winner, right? And this is where I have learned that as a football fan, as a United fan, I need to differentiate what I want versus maybe what the manager wants. Surely the manager knows better than I do, for sure. I need a tempo setter in midfield. I need a ball progressor. I need someone who, I'm not saying has to be extravagant on the ball, but does what you want a midfielder to do, which is be great on the ball. Not good, great on the ball. Amazing on the ball. You can pick up the ball back to goal and you've got eyes on the back of your head comfortably. Edison isn't necessarily that, but I don't also think he's as limited as Ugarte. I think he has limitations, but not as limited as Ugarte. What I will say is that I think because of Amarim's reliance on the wide centre-backs to be the ball progressors and the wing-backs staying so high up, essentially Amarim wants his centre-backs to be like the midfielders on the ball. And these guys are meant to be like the defenders. So they switch over essentially in terms of attributes. But with saying that, I think 60 million is way too much for Edison. I think 60 million for Edison is way too much. I'm sorry. We went to Atalanta. We paid them 72 million for Hojlund, and we paid them 18 million plus add-ons that United haven't paid yet for Ahmad. Why are we giving them another 60 million? And we've only got half of a player in terms of Ahmad. We've only got half of Ahmad. We've barely gotten anything out of Hojlund. So for me, it's just that, number one. Number two, I also think when Man United are looking at midfielders, and even just teams in general, please go and shop in the French league. If you want people who are strong, who are dominant, who, in terms of how close the leagues are for physicality, sign from the French league. Some of the best midfielders in England right now, or just overall, have played a stint in the French league. I remember when Onana was coming from the French league, I wish United got him. I remember when Babako Kamara was available on a free, I was like, how could United not get him? There are so many good midfielders who are good on the ball, good under pressure, good at dictating the tempo of the game, comfortable in and out of possession, that can offer you a lot in the French league. From the more, I would say, I wouldn't say mid-table teams, but not this like superstar teams. They're not. I'm not saying go and buy João Neves from PSG, but you can go to Monaco and walk away with a good midfielder. You can go to Rennes and walk away with a good midfielder. You can go to Marseille or any of these other clubs and walk away with a decent midfielder, better than what you're getting in the Italian league. Let's be honest. And that's not me shitting on the Italian league, excuse my language. I'm just saying for what Man United need, it's more closer to, it's pointing in the direction of the Eiffel Tower. And Man United need to look in that direction of France. French league got dogs. Ugarte was from a French club. Not necessarily. Ugarte spent one season in PSG where he played like 30 games. He didn't even, he started like, I think he started like 50-60% of all the games that he played. He transited. Basically, he was on transit. He was on was a gap year in France. It didn't really count. I'm talking about players who have come to the French league young age and spent developmental years in France. There are some great talents, guys. I promise you guys. There's some top talents there. We've been lacking a top midfielder for years. Let's be honest, yeah. Paul Pogba was probably the best midfielder we've had in the last how long? Before that, it was Carrick. You're telling me, in terms of what United need right now, United need a Carrick. We need a Michael Carrick. And yet, we haven't replaced him. You know what Michael Carrick has done since he left Man United? He was Man United's assistant coach. He went, he's in Middlesbrough's manager. He got to the playoffs. He nearly got them promoted. A lot has happened in his career since he's retired and left Manchester United. And in that process, we haven't replaced him. Angel Gomez is a shout. He's available on a free as well. And to be honest, I haven't really seen much news about where he could end up. Aaron says, I'd take a Fellaini. I hope you're saying Fellaini like a player like Fellaini and not Fellaini right now. We've got great midfielders in our youth team, just need a chance. I agree. I liked what I saw from Sekou Kone. I really, really liked what I saw from Sekou Kone yesterday, even though it looked like it was just a 45-minute kick around for Man United and they weren't really taking it serious. I also think from a lot of what I've watched of Sekou Kone, from his first game into the academy to what I saw yesterday, he's improved. But this is a kid that has gone from playing in, Africa to, and not competitive league football, more like a developmental club, to now playing in a football system and an academy system. So he's got some time to learn. And if he does go out on loan in the summer and he goes to that sister club that they own in Switzerland and he gets consistent first team football, that's what he needs, because I think his talent is there. I just think he needs the experience to get, the errors out of him now. And the best way that you can learn is by being on the pitch rather than sitting there in the crowd watching the games unfold in front of your eyes. So I really like Sekou Kone, but you not know that I was talking about Sekou Kone before United signed him. So I was happy that United signed him as well. Big up to V with the super chat, says, can we not take Pogba for a year and blood Kone in? Listen, don't talk to me about bringing Pogba back, because subscribers in the chat, everyone in the chat will get onto me for suggesting anything about Paul Pogba. So for obvious reasons, I can't answer this question. But also, I don't think people realize, let's bring up Paul Pogba on the screen, because I'm one of the founding members of the Paul Pogba Defense League. But I don't think that people realize the guy hasn't played football in a long time. So he can't just come back to United and bam, start again. He will take a while to get to match fitness. Like, that will take him a long time. And I don't think him and Man United finished on good terms. So I don't see him ever coming back. Pogba back, Ronaldo back. Why not unretire for MVP? I hear it. Yeah, for me, I've let that Pogba ship sail. Like, for me, again, another example of you don't know what you got to it till it's gone, right? And I always say I feel like Pogba played at United in the wrong time because we didn't utilize him properly when we had him. We had Paul Pogba playing as a DLP, as a deep lying midfielder, guys. Like, we're not deep in it. We had people like Herrera and that playing more advanced than him. And his best season was when he played on the left of the front three. Or the front four, sorry. Any news on getting a goalie? Thank you for reminding me, because I was about to forget about that. Manchester United are not giving up on the potential transfer for Espanyol goalkeeper Juan Garcia. The Red Devils are keen to make a change in goal with Anana's future in doubt. Manchester United are also interested in Benfica's, bear with me guys because I can't, Anatoli Trubin. I'm not going to sit here and say I've heard of him. I've watched 2 Benfica games all season, or 3 I think. But he is a 23-year-old goalkeeper. Let me bring him up on screen. He's a 23-year-old goalkeeper from Ukraine. Stands at 6'6". Sign him. I've seen enough. 6'6". Sign him. I've seen enough. But he's got over 60 appearances, or nearly 60 appearances for Benfica. He had over 60 as well for Shakhtar Donetsk. He's also a #1 goalkeeper for Ukraine national team. So Manchester United are reportedly interested in him, but he has a price tag of 40 million. 40 million. 40 million. Come on. If we got 40 million to spend on a goalkeeper, again, maybe United are trying to go down this young talent kind of direction. Maybe they're trying to, like, 40 million is a lot of money, guys, because we didn't spend that much different to Onana. So I thought if we were going to get a goalkeeper, it would be a lot cheaper. Garcia says like prime David De Gea. I've been watching him. I watched him against, I think it was Barca, right? I think it was Barca I was watching him against, or Real Madrid, I can't remember. And I was thinking, this guy is a very, very good shot stopper. He's a great, great shot stopper. Emi Martinez, guys, I don't know. I don't know if Emi Martinez will join Manchester United. Personally, I'm not 100% sure. I don't know. But all I know is that if United are looking for a goalkeeper, I wouldn't mind Emi Martinez. I wouldn't mind Flecken. It does sound like Flecken is going to Eric Ten Hag is funny, guys, because Flecken is linked to joining Bayer Leverkusen. And the first part of business that Eric Ten Hag has done at Bayer Leverkusen is make them sign Flecken from Brentford, who is in the same agency as him. Eric Ten Hag is never, ever, ever beaten those allegations. Never. However, there is some news on the topic of Eric Ten Hag. Let me bring this up if I can find a good picture. If I can. Eric Ten Hag is reportedly, this is crazy, and this is coming from multiple reports in Germany that said that Bayer Leverkusen are internally discussing Antony and Alejandro Garnacho as options this summer, since as Eric Ten Hag has taken over Bayer Leverkusen. You know what? If and this is very unlikely, but if Bayer Leverkusen continue to play the way that they play, Antony makes sense. But if they're going to play the way that Eric Ten Hag wants to play, both of them make sense. You got your right winger, you got your left winger, you're sorted. Now, Eric Ten Hag, if there is any legitimacy to this, Eric, look at me, Eric. You owe us. For all of the money you spent on Antony, come and give us 200 million for these two. And we'll throw in Hojlund for free. There you go. Give us 200 million for Antony and Garnacho, and we will throw in Hojlund for free. Buy 2, get the 3rd free. That's a great deal. Surely Ten Hag can't be that daft. I never know. You will never know. And also, guys, remember, it's a transfer window in it, so I can make up a rumor today on the internet easily, guys. Easily, I can make up a rumor. So we take everything with a pinch of salt, of course. But if there is any truth to this, please, Allegri is new AC Milan coach. What is, guys? What the hell is AC Milan doing? What is AC Milan doing? They've actually gone backwards. They've gone backwards. Allegri. Yeah, I don't really like Allegri, by the way. I didn't like him at Juve either, so I wasn't surprised that he got let go at Juve. But that's a stupid move for AC Milan. Honestly, that is a dumb move. They sack all their managers for no reason. But it is heating up in Italy, though. Just on the topic of Italy, it is heating up in terms of the fact that everyone seems to be on the move. Conte, Simeone, Inzaghi Simeone is linked to going to Al-Hilal a week before the Champions League. The news is coming out. Gasperini is leaving Atalanta to go to Roma. There's a lot of movement with like inter club manager movement happening in Italy right now. Conte is supposedly staying now. Okay, there's a lot happening there. Rafael Leao, I like Leao, but I don't think I've seen enough from him at this season or the last 2 seasons to be like United should go for him. And I just don't see United going for wide players, guys. That's just my opinion. Like, I feel like they will go for players that can play wide but can also play in different areas. Leao is Portuguese Rashford. Honestly, if you guys are annoyed with Marcus Rashford, you will be wanting to hang yourself. Excuse me, I don't encourage that, but you're gonna want to hang yourself watching Rafael Leao. Like, I don't think they're the same, but in terms of the amount of how frustrating it is to watch the two, ain't no way you guys would be able to do it. And same Moises Kean, another player I do not know why we are linked to him. And that's, again, no disrespect to Moises Kean. I think he's better off staying out of teams where there's a spotlight, especially a team like Man United right now. You have to be a madman like Cunha to join Man United. You have to be a madman because there's no way people look at what the environment is at Manchester United. They look at the environment in terms of how the media kind of rip into players, and they think, I'll be safe there. Oh, I'll be safe there. Anthony spoke about, he did an interview before the Conference League final, and he was talking about how mentally he was in a bad place at Manchester United because of everything. Not the fact that he weren't playing, the fact that the media and fans and everybody's ripping into him. I don't think young players should look at that and think, yeah, I want some of that. And Man United are in a growth period where they are growing, unfortunately. A lot of people don't want to hear this, but Manchester United are in a position right now where they are growing. And what happens when you grow, if any of you guys have gone through puberty, which I hope you have, when you're getting taller, your knees hurt, because it's called growing pains. When you're a kid and your teeth are coming out, your adult teeth are coming out, it's called teething pains. We have to go through this pain because United are trying to grow into a new place, get to a new point. But a lot of players, I don't think, should look at this situation at United and think, yeah, I want a piece of that. And, that's why I don't think we'd be linked to anyone like Rafael Leao or Moises Kean. Moises Kean came to the Premier League and struggled. He struggled at Juve. He's flourishing at Fiorentina. Stay there and flourish there. You're appreciated there. You're loved there. You're doing well. Enjoy your football there. I get it. People have high hopes of like doing well and winning everything in football, but I don't see Man United being a realistic destination for a player like Moises Kean. The two Victors are the best two strikers available. If we sign one of them, then that's a coup. Well, outside of the two Victors, right? Victor Gyökeres and Victor Osimhen. Can we throw in Victor Boniface as well, or no? Is it just those two? Jonathan David is slept on. Don't wake me up in that case. But all jokes aside, Jonathan David is a funny one because I've seen him available every summer. Every summer for like the last 3 windows, I've seen Lille are willing to listen to offers for Jonathan David. Every summer, without a doubt. And somehow he's never left. He's never left. And I think that says a lot because he wasn't available for an expensive amount. And even now, him being available on a free and a lot of clubs needing strikers and no one's sniffing his way. Except for, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean the fact that Napoli are in for him, Juve are in for him. There's nowhere else, I think, outside of maybe like a West Ham or something like that, or a Crystal Palace example, that is lining up to sign him and get his signature. Jonathan David gives Sergio Milinkovic savage vibes. He's not it. Abe says we need Osimhen and David. We can loan Obi this way. He desperately needs it. I think Chido needs some first team football, like easily. He needs it because when we watch him, guys. I don't know what you lot think of Chido, but when I watch him, I like what I see, but I see it's so raw, and I think you coming off the bench for 10-15 minutes every 3 games is not going to develop you. That's not going to develop the raw attributes that I can see that you have. That's good, but it needs a bit of tweaking. So I agree with Chido maybe going out on loan. I don't think. I think he needs like a loan to the Championship or something can do him well. Personally, I think a loan to the Championship can do him well. And Arsenal fans will probably laugh. Arsenal fans will probably laugh and be like, "Oh, look, he left." But he left at the age of 15, 16. Give him 1 year, 18, 19, he can be at Manchester United. He could be at Manchester United and be part of the front line. But I totally agree that that development that he needs is kind of there on show. It's really there on the show. I don't know where this goes in terms of the future for Manchester United and their strikers. But I think, guys, the next couple of weeks it's gonna be an emotional roller coaster. So you guys know what to do. Strap in, because it's going to be a serious emotional roller coaster for us. We're going to go through the 6 stages of grief. We're going to talk about a striker, and this is why I don't do videos about like when we're linked to a player. I don't do a video saying, "Oh, we're linked to him. How can he play in Man United's team? What would it look like?" Because we know damn well 9 times out of 10 United are not signing that player, right? Most of the time, we're not signing him. So now I wait till we get the here we go, and then I drop a video about it. And on that topic, I'll be dropping a video later this evening. So make sure you guys check it out. Big up to everyone that stuck around for the stream. What did we get to likes? We passed 150. That is great. Still a lot of people here that didn't hit the like button. So on your way out, make sure you guys hit the like button. Is there anybody live right now that I can redirect to? Let me see. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to see if anyone's live that I can redirect to. I can see Alice is live, so let me redirect to Alice. Go show Alice some love, guys. Make sure you go show her some love. And yeah, I'll catch a lot of you guys on tomorrow's stream. We will have Daily Dose of Minna, and we might have a video dropping with Saeed. So make sure you check that out tomorrow, inshallah. I'll catch a lot of you lot on tomorrow's stream, guys. Have a great evening. Peace.